Plainfield Township Park District Park Board of Commissioners meeting is called to order at 6 p.m. Commissioner Ayers, could you lead the pledge, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ayers.
Here.
Furtado. Here. Casmar. Here. Newton.
Here.
Bowling. Here. Steiny.
Yes.
Ludman.
Here. Is there anybody that would like to make public comment? No, okay. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved. Second.
Okay, a motion was made by Commissioner Hurtado and seconded by Commissioner Steiny. Is there any discussion? No? Roll call.
Furtado.
Yep.
Steiny.
Yes.
Ayers.
Yes.
Casmar. Yes. Newton.
Yes.
Bowling. Yes. Ludman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Staff reports.
Just go through a couple of things. This last Friday at the IPRA IAPD State Conference, Soaring New Heights, our senior graphic design artist, Corinne Vargas, had submitted several of our marketing pieces in the various categories, such as large format, brochure, website, etc. And we did take third place in the social media interaction with our Scout in the Park, in which we had put our stuffed animal Scout, which we have been using as our mascot, in various parks in which people could take pictures with it and put it on our Facebook page. And due to the interaction it created, we did take third place in that. Currently, I'm sorry?
Yay.
Yeah, that was very good. I think it's the first time we've placed in a marketing category. So that's good, good step. Currently, Amanda Bergman, our equestrian, or our recreation manager of equestrian services, had applied for a grant last year to build 5 paddock shelters that would be put out in the paddocks at different times. We had to extend the grant just due to time, et cetera, and manpower. But at this point, we are completed 2 of the 5 shelters, with the 3rd almost done. We plan on having those rolled out this spring. We've actually changed up the format a little bit on them, to which the park staff, as they were assembling them, came up with a good concept of having them to where they're portable and they're almost sled-like, so they can shift them around so the horses aren't always in one area. So it's a positive creation that the park staff did, and using their ingenuity, and it also shines well on Amanda for what she had secured. Next Friday, February 19th, is the daddy-daughter dance that we would have at Heritage Grove. It begins at 6 p.m. In front of you, you have your comprehensive master plan, all 500 pages of it. Roughly about 200 pages of it are the actual plan itself, and the other 200, or roughly 300 pages, are a lot of the grasp for information that we had gone through to give it out, and also the surveys, or the survey tool itself, etc. So when you're going through it, once again, how we had talked before, chapters 4 and 5 are really like why 1, 2, and 3 give us our history, our survey results, direction. They give more inspect on what we do. 4 and 5 were our future moving forward and how we're implementing our goals, etc. So with that being said, also in front of you, we put together our 2016 annual fiscal goal, our annual goals for fiscal year 2016. The way this is created is, first we had the master plan goals, in which they were also in our budget document originally. Those are the ones that were identified as we went through the master plan. So those are pretty much, I take those on as those are my responsibility, and those are the things I'm working towards making sure we see to fruition in 2016. Each department director then took another step and created their department goals on things that they want to see tied into the master plan, or areas that they would like to see their department grow or improve upon. And then every full-time staff member in the departments, mainly of supervisory level, went the next step and had to do individual goals, 3 goals, to which those either tie within the department goals or the master plan goals. What we will be doing is, you have the full document in front of you. We all report on them quarterly internally. We will do 2 presentations to the board, 1 semi-annually so that you see our progress, and 1 at the end of the year, right before we start looking at next year, or right after we've already started looking at next year's goals. Are there any questions on that? And finally, we did file the removal of the deed restriction for the small piece on Arnold, so that has been taken care of. So one of the suggestions, do we want to send that to capital and development so that we can review that and move forward with trying to go through the property as it was initially intended for a swamp? Or, I don't know, I didn't know what direction you want to go. Do you want me just to act upon it, or we want to bring it back to the board for any discussion or committee discussion?
I should say just act on it personally. That's myself and
What do you guys think?
I mean, we've discussed it. It's not,
Yeah.
we've discussed it.
This is
before.
the- what
It's
we
not-
swapped.
This is where we have the
Swapping
agreement that
out
was back
last-
from, I think, 2011. But before I start going down more to the village, I want to make sure we're still in comfort, that I have my clear directive that that's acceptable, even though that it's been kind of stalled for the last 5 years. Okay.
It's us holding
Sounds
apart
good.
agreement.
Right,
so.
And I just want to make sure, and to clarify. And then the final thing I do have is back, and I'll be honest with you, I don't exactly remember the exact time frame, but one of our goals and objectives for the, I believe, fiscal, or 2015A, we had tried to help board development. And one of the things we had put forth to the board members, if anyone was interested, was the board member development program. Basically, through your participation in meetings, interactions with legislators, attendance at events, conference, workshops, actually taking upon yourself to find other avenues of learning, many different mechanisms, you can earn BDUs, board development units, in which you can work towards a notable board member of 100 units, a distinctive board member of 400 units, or a master board member of 750 units. What I'd like to do right now is recognize 2 of our commissioners that did obtain different status within the board development program. First, I would like to commend Mimi Poling for the period of October 2014 through September 2015. That was the time of record that she had earned 127 BDUs and was awarded the notable board member at the IAPD annual meeting, and will be recognized in the Illinois Parks and Recreation magazine as for all her dedication to the Park District through legislative conference, seminars, volunteering with the district through the senior programs and active adults, meeting with our legislators, attending board meetings, committees, etc. So very good job, Mimi. Additionally, for the time periods of October 2013 through September of 2014 and October of 2014 through September of 2015, I would like to commend then Commissioner Ludeman, who earned 785 board development units and has been awarded the master board member by the IAPD at the annual meeting, and for her attendance also at state conferences, national conferences, meeting with legislators, IAPD, or seminars, workshops, attending board meetings, holding a board office, serving on committees, being a board committee or a board chair, participating in radio and other media avenues, and other educational activities. With that said, Mary was awarded a plaque by the IAPD. Yeah, we got a lot. They give out a lot. Her IAPD distinctive or designation of master board. And then additionally, one little thing that we got Mary is Mary's picture with the IAPD chair. So, we'd like to congratulate Mary as well.
That's a lifetime award, right? So you get that you get to keep that status for your.
Oh, you guys want to see?
I think they waived the membership fees now. That's what I thought I read. I'm not sure.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure.
Next is committee
Oh,
comments.
yeah,
We're switching.
Capital and Development Committee. Commissioner Newton, did you have any?
Yeah, on February 1st, the committee met to discuss various items, one of which was the possibility of leasing vehicles versus purchasing vehicles. We decided to continue to study that issue with a particular contractor that's offering some competitive vehicles, and looking at the cost ramifications of that. We also discussed property acceptance and consideration of options for acquisition and things like that, and whether it made sense for the entire board to look at every proposal that comes our way, or rather than that, and have staff make the call whether something's worthy or not of bringing to our attention, and we kind of left it to staff to make that decision of what needs to come to the board. We talked about the possibility of changing the spot dedication for the park. We decided to suggest to give him a call and find out what his desires were as far as park dedication goes, and then go from there. Also, Four Seasons Park was, we decided that since everything is in that area is still up in the air, that we decided not to proceed with the master plan at this point for Four Seasons, just because there's so much uncertainty regarding that whole area because of the interchange and other things going on in the area, that we'd rather not dedicate a lot of money and then just have something come up in the next couple of years that will wipe all that away. So we put that on the back burner. And then we also decided to proceed with a facility aquatic and feasibility study to decide, first of all, what kind of indoor facility or outdoor facility we might want to look at, and then the possibility of looking at other options for the pool and other things like that. So it was a very productive meeting.
Thank you. Personnel and Policy, Commissioner Pauling, did you have a report?
We met and we're working on personnel policy. We didn't make a lot of progress. We're going to meet again.
Okay, thank you. And Recreation and Marketing, Commissioner Kansmar.
Sure. Cheryl went over the fall holiday program summary, enrollment. We talked about, she actually has it attached, the program, different program areas and the new tracking system that she developed in order to measure enrollment and so that courses can be either eliminated or added based on the statistics that she's running. And so there's an actual tracking system here that will help them plan ahead. It also actually highlights the wait list and other things in the colors, so I encourage you to read the fine print at the bottom. Kind of gives you a nice explanation. And we went over the securing of sponsorships for this upcoming brochure, and there's quite a few already, and looks like the goal is already pretty much met as far as what the last, close to it. Okay, so, yeah.
Great, thank you very much. Next on the agenda is action items, the pool and facility feasibility study.
As Commissioner Newton had stated, that we talked about this in the committee as well, one of the things that came out of the master planning process was the discussion of the building over and over, and then also the cycle of the pool being beyond its technical life cycle at 30 years, now coming up on its 35th year. So one of the objectives that was determined as we went through this process was to perform a feasibility study. We asked the consultant that we were working with, since he had done a lot of our legwork, if he can give us a quote, and I confirmed with the committee that they were acceptable of just the one price right now, because another pricing would require other we could go for more pricing, but because he's done a lot of our work to date, he already has some of our history that another consultant might look for. So we are bringing the one. It is $9,500, which is within the purchasing policy under my purview, but because I feel this is something that strongly needs to be board supported, if it's going to be moved forward, I am bringing it to the full board for an approval process.
Okay, I got a question for you in regards to your
Do you
letter
want to make a
stating.
motion? You want to go through the motion first, or do you want, I don't know, I'm just asking.
Okay, just wondering why you didn't propose this letter beforehand in our committee.
I had this at the committee.
No, you did not the letter submitted here. You had, you just talked about, assigning.
I'm sorry, I had it with me, I was holding, I was right in front of me. Which part are you looking at?
Okay, I appreciate the letterhead in regards to professional service and the feasibility study in outdoor pool and community center. My question is that community center going to be considering having an indoor pool?
That's why I think the two need to be feasibility studied together. Whether we're looking at we can do them separately, and I think that would be kind of redundant.
No, I'm saying this, when you have a recreation center and so forth, they could have adjusted like in regards to having
That's what we're,
basketball courts, tennis courts, indoor running tracks, indoor pool.
right, that's the whole purpose of feasibility study is what is it we're looking to go through, not
Yeah.
just.
Okay, I just want to make sure that's, no, in the realm.
It's a possibility. Am I saying is that what we're putting out there? No, that's kind of the whole part of the process is, do we want an indoor pool? Do we want an outdoor pool? Should it be attached to the building? What is the price tag with it as you move forward? So that is part of the whole process. That's why I didn't want to
Well, that's
say
what I'm talking about in regards to the feasibility process, and in regards to looking at those,
those options.
Options, yes.
Yes, that's part of why I'm combining the two together.
Shouldn't there be a motion before we talk about that?
Well, usually,
Well, no, and that's why I said, is this a discussion or?
Well, the committee was recommending this, so I'll make the motion that the Park Board of Commissioners authorize the executive director to enter into a contract with Design Perspective, Inc. for an aquatic and community center feasibility study at a base cost of $9,500 pending attorney review and revision.
a motion was made by Commissioner Newton and seconded by Commissioner Ayers. Is there any other discussion?
Yeah, one of the things that I felt was important here is I really want the board to have full input into what our vision is for if we, would be looking at the feasibility of the building. I think in a stronger way than we did for the master plan even. I felt for the master plan we gave our input and it was put together with everybody else's input, but we really didn't see what the board's vision was, joint vision. And so I very much would like to see this study do that for us, if we're gonna do it, that we have a clear board vision, joint vision
Understand.
of what that would be, and so.
I totally 100% agree with you. And that's why I brought this up in regards to the letterhead, making sure we're describing what we're looking for, and making sure we touch all aspects and all elements in regards to this indoor facility and outdoor. So.
One of the other questions that I have is about timing, and I'm feeling like I'd like to wait till we get through this election cycle and see what happens with the library thing before we put this kind of money into this. I sort of want that data before we move ahead with this. That's just my feeling on it.
My opinion also, if you, like I said, looking at the park district itself, started looking at ways and means of producing their own cost revenues in regards to, producing, facilities without touching, taxpayers, levying, all possible means. Utilizing our facilities to its utmost.
I appreciate the timing thing, but if we go through this process, it really won't even be done until after the election. And then we'll have our information as well as the information from the election that we can combine in then our review of how this all turns out.
You don't think there's any chance that how that turns out that might affect whether we want to do this at this time?
Well, the purpose of the study too is to determine what the needs are for the community and then what the potential costs would be. So I mean, it's strictly an information gathering exercise at this point to look at other options, if there are things already in the community that we need not duplicate or, funding structures or, just give us an idea of how much, we were talking about, because we didn't have that information at this point.
Right, I know, I mean, we started it and got so far through this, but
Right.
now this is obviously
Right.
much more concentrated,
Right.
specific information we're looking for.
Well,
At the same aspect, you have to look at, we are here to serve the community, in regards to, providing the services they've been asking for through their taxes regardless through the years. And like I said, for us not having any kind of indoor facility at all in regards to indoor basketball courts, indoor swimming facilities, we're shut down in the wintertime where everybody has to run off to private companies or, businesses, to get their physical fitness. We're supposed to be providing that. That's my strong point. And the thing is, for, if we have to look at a levy and so forth, not to make it a major burden against the taxpayer, providing us as service to the community and to our taxpayers, as looking at our park districts in regards to producing internal revenues to fit the bill, to help substitute, the cost of these, building structures. So that's what I'm looking for out of, this park district myself as a commissioner, just striving to utilize, to produce some kind of revenues. But like I said, we have concession stands. I see them closed all the time. There's opportunities around, great opportunities where we can bring in, cost-adjusted revenues to help build these facilities for our taxpayers, for our community.
Well, and that would be part of the overall board visioning workshop, part of this process, where we could get into more deeper discussion on those opportunities and things of that nature, so that would certainly be part of the process.
My point is that it's been going on too long for this size of a park district to not have an indoor facility.
Well, and that's true, and that's why we're gonna do this, is see if we can't find a way to make that possible. I think a lot of people here would agree that we could do that, and our pool is definitely beyond its life expectancy, so it's just a matter of time before that becomes unusable.
Unfortunately, like I said, everybody knows things do get old, but things don't. Forecasting for the future, knowing that it's gonna take big bucks, big dollars, and not, instead of looking at, like I said, the park district itself, how you can produce and justify, or, like I said, help with the cost, in regards to these, major expenditures. Instead of, looking at, going after the taxpayers for a levy. And, that's all I got to say on it.
Any other discussion?
Can I ask one question? In the tasks, we have like 3 community focus groups and 1 park board visioning meeting. Would you like to see an increase in the park board visioning?
I think I would. I think I very much would like to, have an original input one and then a more formed, I mean, Carlo and I had a discussion about this, and we talked about, even taking squares and being able to say, here's two basketball courts, and here's a pool, and actually trying to vision, not exactly what it would look like, because we're not talking about an architectural rendering here, but we're talking about what, each of us sees, because each of us maybe has a different picture of what it might be. So I think that probably would take more than 1 meeting to really do that thoroughly.
Maybe right after the framework plan cost estimate, or what do you think?
Well, the timeframes, I mean, we
I think we
work
can
on
set
the
that in the
timeframe
future.
if this was approved, and I can negotiate that a little bit more.
Sure.
But I'm sure we can negotiate as well as like we would like a second park
I think,
board.
if you work, if this goes through for, like, allowing through the whole, through the feasibility studies, obviously, like I said beforehand, have everybody, every commissioner and so forth, put their inputs and what they want to see, and it's just, type of facility.
Well, and that's why I was asking, like, I know Commissioner Polling made a comment, a little bit more input, and following up on your comment, Commissioner Stein, is you're looking at, you have the 1 meeting, but I think you guys want to see more of the results out of that meeting.
Yes,
Again,
separate
for
from
review. Yes, and that's why I'm asking.
I think that's a good idea.
So do we have to do this tonight, or can we table this until next month? Perhaps towards next month, after the elections and all that stuff, we'll.
This
That's if
meeting
you
will
want
be
to see how
before
it weighs
the
out at that.
we'd have to
Our
wait
next
till
meeting
March.
is before the election.
At least before the election.
I mean, we'd have to wait till April if we wait.
There's no time frame on this, and like, you see, if you read through the proposal, it had a time frame on it, but that time frame is very flexible when talking with the consultant. So I'm not worried about this being held, like, because we don't approve it by that point.
Okay, I want to read this prosecute out to all the commissioners, and so who feels that we need a facility, an indoor facility?
can we actually,
No, I'm
part-
just
no,
saying,
no,
I'm saying,
part of
it's
my
all
honest,
justified
You-
benchmarking a time period, you know, to make this happen.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Part of what I have, our presentation that we're gonna talk about, we're gonna go through a little bit of that.
Okay.
One of my suggestions, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, is I think we need a board workshop to talk
Right.
about some of those aspects moving forward. Obviously, it's great to talk about it here, but, and have open conversation, but I think we need to have a little bit more data, and the workshop is more of a instrumental tool for the planning of the future.
Where we can all discuss what our vision for the future and try to come to a board consensus on the direction we want to present staff to focus on. So we can probably work out all those things at that time too. So.
So is
Did
there
you
a
want to
consensus
take
that we have a second
tonight?
board?
After we vote on this. We'll have a workshop for the overall vision of the district, and then we'll add a second park board meeting within this scope of this project here.
Okay.
And I personally think we need this information regardless of the election, but that's just my opinion, so. if-
I agree.
But if there's no more discussion, we'll call for a vote on that.
Newton,
Yes.
Ayers,
Yes.
Hurtado,
Yes.
Kesmark,
No.
Poling,
Abstain.
Steines,
Yes.
Goodman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next is old business, there is none. Okay, new business. We are going to review closed session.
I
minutes.
don't have a need for a closed session, so unless there's something I'm not aware of, we can just, we won't need to go into closed session to review the minutes, we'll just do that now, and then we can, unless there's a need to go into closed session to discuss the minutes. Obviously, once again, these aren't to be discussed at this point unless it's just a passage at this point.
Is there a motion that the Park Board of Commissioners approve the January 13, 2016 closed session minutes and that they remain closed? A motion was made by Commissioner Hurtado and seconded by Commissioner Steines. Roll call.
Hurtado?
Yep.
Steines,
Yes.
Ayers,
Yes.
Kesmark,
Yes.
Newton,
Yes.
Poling,
Yes.
Goodman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And next is item B, the capital funding forecast, which is where we were gonna bring up the workshop, so we're to that point now.
We waited too long, then you just have to touch the projector.
This presentation was supposed to be between Jennifer, Maureen, and myself. Unfortunately, Jennifer got stuck in the accident on the very far tail end on the way back from a meeting she had this afternoon. So I'm gonna do my best Jennifer impersonation and go through her area as best as possible. One of the things we wanted to do at this point was we wanted to give a kind of a 3-year forecast of where we see the district as we move forward. We know what we've determined through the master plan of what is our capital items that we need to move forward with. The finance and Maureen and her team have worked through what we see as income and revenues moving forward, and Maureen will go through that a little bit further. And then we want to go through some of the options the board has, and I think that would then take us to the final step of looking at a possible workshop to start talking about what direction the board would like to go as we move forward. So looking forward, we have a project, or looking at, this was not part of the master plan, because these are recycling, or these are our scheduled replacement of vehicle and trailer. But we do see that between 2017 and 2019, we have 204,500 of vehicle expense and $10,000 of trailer expense and replacement. One of the things we are looking at currently, and that we heard about in the capital and development meeting, is ways that instead of being hit with big dollar ticket, or big ticket items at various points, how can we structure that out and carry it across more of an even plane? And that's why we're talking with enterprise fleet management of a vehicle lease that keeps the recycling vehicle program going.